in
Yes.
2005.
Is that the flair for making a sign?
That was
Oklahoma?
No, it was
I swore that was
Wichita
Waco.
Falls.
Ah,
That was the fall. Actually,
Oh, you're right.
I don't.
You
think,
guys went
I
to
was gonna say,
Waco.
I don't think you went with
I
us
went to Wichita.
Waco.
I didn't go to Waco.
But we saw in the main event a 4-on-4 main event, and in my mind, when I heard about it, I was like, "Man, this is the main event."
Right. Am I seeing fucking 8-man tags? This is
I was like,
ridiculous.
"Yeah, I was like an 8-man tag. This is terrible." But it was like Shawn Michaels, the Hardys, or maybe Matt Hardy, Shawn Michaels, Edge was involved, Big Show. It was all the big names in 2005 in the main event scene or upper mid card scene, and it was a great match. It was so much fun.
Right.
And I remember just watching New Japan. The more New Japan I watch, the more I'm like, wow, they do this really well to keep those one-on-one matchups from happening, but to continue the interaction between the people who are in these feuds
Right.
together.
They continue storylines because one team will beat somebody, especially if, I really love it when they do things like, let's say Naito gets pinned. He's the IC champ. So that means whoever's pinned him has the next shot at the IC title.
Is that a rule?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's great.
That puts more. It's more skin in the game
Exactly.
at that point.
Especially like if you're doing a 6-man, like in regular 6-man in like WWE, they'd be like, I lost, no big deal. That's not for the championship, so doesn't matter.
All right. Well, they should do it here in America. They're probably not going to. Well, at least the WWE is not going to. They should take our advice and just revolutionize wrestling over here. But whatever. Don't listen to us.
What do we know? We've only watched it for over 30 years.
I mean, Vince has only been in it for like over 920. So
He's also a third generation.
yeah, third 100 generation. He is a warlock. Of.
Do you think he's a vampire?
I don't.
Maybe a sorcerer?
I don't. But I do think it's time to have a little conversation about the main event of the evening.
Ooh, what is that?
I feel like.
You don't want to touch on Slammiversary?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, let's do that. Rhodey also went to. I didn't get to go, but Rhodey also got to go to Slammiversary.
Brother Johnny and I went. It was amazing. It was literally like, because I try to watch all the big Impact shows that have happened this year. They've all been great, and it's been leading up to like even a bigger show. And I feel like top to bottom, it really like kicked off. Like, okay, these are the guys we have. This is the talent that they have, and it's fucking amazing.
Like,
so,
did it feel like a jumping off point for like?
oh, I'd say so, for something much bigger. And if the main event,
I heard the crowd was hot.
very hot.
I watched a little bit of it. I had to go take my daughters to my sister's house or meet her halfway. But I watched a little bit of it while I was eating dinner. I watched part of the what match was it?
The tag match, the 3-way tag match.
I don't remember. It's fine.
Was it Willie Mack versus Jake Chris, TJP, and Trey Miguel?
I did watch a little bit of that.
That
match.
was a fun one. It was a good kickoff for the show. I didn't know it was going to happen.
I don't remember who it was, but I watched it and it was fun. But I couldn't watch it all. But I was following along with what was happening. But
You can hear Johnny actually during the 3-way tag match. So as soon as Ethan Page gets on the top rope, Johnny screams, "You fucking suck, Ethan Page," and then he blows him a kiss.
which is a little bit of a tradition for a couple of Marks and a couple of Marks family.
We like to shout.
And to be honest, we didn't start that. Like
No.
we actually were watching.
we were making fun of other people.
We were
doing it.
watching a Ring of Honor DVD like from 2003. Like
yeah.
I mean, this is
Very
like
early.
I mean, obviously we've been wrestling fans forever. So like in 2003 when Ring of Honor was just getting going, there was a wrestler by the name of Azrael.
Oh yeah.
And someone screamed out, "You fucking suck, Azrael!" And then we just started doing it at Ring of Honor shows because you can't really do it at WWE shows, right? Like
Well,
you
plus
go,
they don't-
you go
yeah.
to WWE
Unless
shows,
you go to a
and it's
house
just
show,
like,
maybe.
yeah, we have done it at like
Yes.
some WWE house because they come to the Arlington Arena quite a few times, and it's loud enough to do it. It's quiet enough to do it there. I won't because I take my kids to those.
Right.
But
And then later after the Michael Elgin Brian Cage match,
a mysterious masked man
mysterious man.
who looked a lot like some guy who has an animal name.
He may have an I in it. He may have a Y in it. I don't know. He also may have destroyed a potted plant one time.
He may
got him
also
fired.
have been under contract to another company when that happened.
Well, anyway, after the match, I scream out, "You fucking pansy, Josh!" And then you could hear that on the card as well. They actually have shown it is Rhino.
Yes,
Yes,
it is
but-
now Rhino. That
As
masked
of
man
press time.
is Rhino.
But the main event of the evening was the intergender match between Sami Callihan and Tessa Blanchard, and did not disappoint, as I knew it would not.
I heard it was great.
Very good.
I really wish they had put Tessa over. To be honest with you,
I think they will the next time.
I
So
think
that way,
well,
I
now
think
that they set up another one, I don't see any other way but because like what Sammy's 2 up on her, like that's
not gonna happen.
Like, then what's the third match? Look, I have seen how they make wrestling or money in professional wrestling,
Yes.
and it's not by giving away get a 2-0 lead. Unless you're WCW in 1994 when Hogan came over, and then you just like it's 0 Flair 0-3.
Right.
Like he didn't win at all against Hogan. Like, but whatever.
Or unless you're in a feud with Cena, and then he'll give you the first one, and he'll take the next two on
He'll
top.
take the next 700. And that's not really John Cena's fault. I think this is Vince's fault. Unless you're, who did he not like? Cena didn't like.
Probably didn't like a lot of people.
Alex Riley apparently.
Oh, A-Rai?
Yeah.
Poor
Anyway.
A-Rai. He died though, didn't he? Or no?
No.
He didn't die?
No.
I thought he died.
He's like a stuntman or something like that. All right, so let's talk about the main event of the evening.
Yes, our Summer Jams. Will Smith with DJ Jazzy Jeff.
DJ
Summertime.
Khalid. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not a fan of that
I
guy.
don't really
like he
that
does
guy
good
either.
music. I just don't need him
One
talk
more
all over shit.
time.
We the best music.
Anyway, this somehow turned into a anti-DJ Khalid.
I'm DJ Khaled.
No. Anyway.
I'm a big baby.
All right. Anyway.
I'd make this cartoon right now.
Nope, he doesn't. That's someone else. Not even close, actually. Okay, so we're going to do this top 5. I think we'll do
top
it
5.
sing-song style. What is
Bottom
your...
to top to the bottom?
I don't care what order you put them in, because I ain't got mine in an order. You go first. What's one of your matches? What is one of your... We can give a little chat about.
We are going to start it off the way WWE did with their Summer Jams, which was SummerSlam 1988. Mega Powers versus Mega Bucks.
And where
it
was
wasn't
that?
for...
I got it. It was in Madison Square Garden. I just wanted to say that it was at Madison Square Garden.
It was a Madison Square Garden. Mm-hmm. I don't like the match so much because it wasn't all that great.
Oh, no.
I liked the fact
trash.
that this was what like carried and really helped build on the Mega Powers Explode that led into WrestleMania 5.
This is where she got hurt, right?
Quote unquote.
Yeah.
Because she got knocked off. No, this is where she tore her skirt off.
Gotcha.
And then they were like, what? No, I think it was on a Saturday Night Main Event. That's right. Is where she fell off.
Right. You're totally right.
Yes.
Anyway, that's a fun one to start
because
with.
it just kind of puts a wrinkle in the entire like Mega Powers friendship.
Like Randy Savage is like, bruh,
yeah,
what are you doing?
That's right. He also when they hoisted up Elizabeth, Hogan's hand was a little too much on the keister.
Did Macho Man notice it?
No, but they pointed it out later.
And then obviously he was like,
and
I can't believe it, man. I can't believe it. He's doing this, man.
Your hand was a little bit too long on her keister.
And I just want you to know I saw it.
With my own 2 eyes!
That was so loud. All right.
That's what he does. He goes real quiet.
I know, yeah. He's the Billy Corgan of professional wrestlers. I understand completely. Although Billy Corgan is now the Billy Corgan of professional wrestlers because he owns a fucking promotion. One of the most storied promotions of all time. Which, that's cool. Good for him.
Who do you think they'll partner with next?
I don't know.
Do you think they would be AEW?
I don't know. I think he kind of needs to do his own thing, to be honest with you.
Fair enough.
I think they're going to continue to use maybe the indies in some way, but I think they need to start building their own thing. But that's a whole nother show.
Who do you got? What's yours?
My first one was actually the first SummerSlam I ever watched, and that's why it's more of like a personal choice than like this would be on my mixtape to like my high school sweetheart sort of thing because it's personal to me, but it's not a hit,
right,
or a hit that everyone else might be like, oh yeah, I love it. Heart Foundation, and I've talked about this match plenty of times because it's one of my favorite tag team matches of all time. Heart Foundation Demolition best 2 out of 3 falls match. It was
which one was this at?
SummerSlam 1990.
Okay.
Which the main event of that was Rick Rude and Warrior and that awful blue cage.
Oh, the salad blue cage?
Yeah.
Salad steel blue cage.
But this match, I don't remember if it opened that SummerSlam or if it was very early in that SummerSlam.
Fifth match in.
Well, it's not either of those two things. Well, I'm old.
There was 11... Technically 10 matches on this card.
Yeah.
There was way too many.
Were there any that weren't on the pay-per-view?
Yeah, only one. It was that was the 11th match. It was Shane Douglas versus Buddy Rose.
Weird.
1990, baby.
Weird. Okay.
We also had Queen Sherry versus Sapphire.
But the match is just so good. Like it was like that was when Crush was part of Demolition and they had him under the ring, and they were made a big deal. They were like, only 2 members can be out here. This is not the fucking WCW or WCCW. No fucking Freebird rule. He'll get the shit out of here.
Freebirds? Now y'all strutting around?
So they were like, oh, it's going to be Smash and Axe, the original Demolition.
Yeah.
Don't worry
Toads
about it.
McGoats.
And so they go out there, and then like I don't even remember how the match happens, to be honest with you. But like I know that Crush comes out from under the ring, and he's like, "Oh no, it's totally me." Even though like they switched him out with Axe, who was old and fat
and shorter. Crush is very tall.
Crush was like the biggest member of Demolition,
and he had long hair.
He looked more like Smash than he looked like Axe. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, the ref, I don't know who the ref was, probably Shane McMahon, was like, "Okay, I'll allow it." But then the Road Warriors come down, and they're like, not so fucking fast, man. And then like the Heart Foundation ends up winning. I just remember it was a pretty big pop, and like it was a very emotional match. Very like they told a really great story with that match. Inside the ring, outside the ring, with the outside interference. It's one of those matches that you can watch and be like, this was overall great.
Yes.
And fun. Hit me with number 2.
When you think of summertime, you think of islands, you think of going to the beach. But do you ever think
of a bash at the beach?
No, or an island death match.
Oh,
we've brought it up on the show before, and that's right, the Stinker from Malinker. That's not what it's called. That was terrible. There's no place called.
I don't know where Malinker is. I don't know
at,
but I don't even.
It's on an island where they had a death match.
Why would you book a match there? It sounds terrible.
I don't know. It's in Japan though.
There's no money there.
So Antonio Inoka and Masa Saito had their infamous island death match. It is a long one, and we've talked about it.
Not a good one.
It's not unless you really enjoy helicopter noise and no commentary, then you may not like this match.
I don't think I will. I just think
it's just fun to talk about
because it's a fun
like,
match to like be like, hey, let's
right, and just to go and look at it. Like, there's no reason to actually like break it down because you got nothing else better to do with your time. Go ahead, but. Find something.
Two great Japanese performers though, so that's there's always that going for it.
What's yours? What you got?
SummerSlam 2013. This is a relatively recent match. Oh, I guess not. 6 years is a long time, but
still it's in the past decade.
But the main, well, I guess it wasn't technically the main event, but the main event, the scheduled main event, John Cena, Daniel Bryan. That was when like Daniel Bryan was first kind of like making his way to like the main event scene, and
he went over Cena clean.
He did, and Cena put him over like a goddamn champ, man. Like they made Daniel Bryan look like $100 fucking bucks coming out of that, and then they fucking did what they did. But it's fine. In the long run, it worked out because it eventually led to what happened at WrestleMania.
Exactly.
But I just remember we watched this pay-per-view. I don't know that we watched every pay-per-view back then, but we watched a lot of them. But we definitely watched this. I mean, it was also the Brock CM Punk match. That was another really good match and also a really good build to it. But I remember this one being like, they're finally going to do it, Daniel Bryan. And then they did, and then they didn't. And I remember being so mad. We were all like, I cannot fucking believe that they did this. Right. I guess we didn't have that long-term vision, although I don't think they did either, to be honest.
Oh, they had no fucking idea what they're doing.
Because, like, it felt like we had to really fucking push to get Daniel Bryan in the main event, and they were like, fine, we fucking hear you.
Well, then they also had Batista come back, too, so that threw a wrench in everything.
Well, I think they thought, like, they'll forget about Daniel Bryan when Batista comes back, and they're like, fuck Batista!
Yeah. We do not give a shit.
We want Daniel Bryan since last August, you buttholes.
Get your shit together.
And they were like, all right, we'll add him to the damn thing. But it was a great match. I loved it. It was brutal. Some parts of it were pretty brutal. Good on Cena for taking some of that shit.
Bryan likes to take shit too, so.
Does, and he did. But it was, he sold it with that fucking knee. That knee, man, at the end was so good. So good.
And now it's the finisher.
Hit me.
Let's go across the pond to jolly old England, 1992 SummerSlam, British Bulldog versus Bret the Hitman Hart. The one match they always talk about with British Bulldog is this one.
Hey, how many great Bulldog matches? Well, there's SummerSlam 92.
From Wembley. No, it's just an amazing match, and it's and the entire event was fun.
And it was the main event.
Yes.
Which it had in 1992... The IC title didn't main event.
Yeah, but who else is from England?
I agree. No, I agree. It's absolutely the right call. Like it was the best match on the card. It was definitely the they had the national hero sort of thing playing into it. Also, it was in a huge arena.
Yeah, Wembley Stadium,
which and they didn't do as many of those shows back then as they do now. Like WrestleMania wasn't at an arena that holds 60 to 70,000 people every year.
80,000 was the attendance for that one.
Which is, think about that. That's 80,000 people